Okay, good morning, all of you.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah, thank you for,
Good morning.
yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining this meeting today. I'm so happy this morning. Nice to see you again this morning. Before we start our discussion, so please let us have a prayer first. Okay. Okay, start to pray. Amen. Okay. Okay, guys, on the last meeting, we discussed about the order of modifiers of noun, right? Yeah, the order of modifiers of a noun. Yeah. Now, I would like to ask you, do you still remember what the modifier is? Do you still remember?
Yes.
Yeah. What is the modifier? Just mas risky, maybe?
It is a word or phrase that describe or modify another part of a sentence.
Yes, right. Good. Very good. Yeah. So a modifier is a word or phrase. It can be also clause which describe or modifies another part of the sentence. Yeah. Yeah. In the same sentence. Yeah. So this morning, we are going to continue our discussion on modifier, dealing with the placement of modifier. Yeah. So dealing with the placement of modifier. So our discussion will be the problems of placement of modifier. Let me share the PowerPoint. Okay, you can see on your screen.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So our topic is placement of modifiers. Yeah. So actually, we have when we have the placement of modifier. Actually, we have some problems. Yeah. Confusion problems. Yeah. These confusion problems happen or result when a reader, okay, cannot tell to which a word modify is attached. Yeah. So look at the examples. The tone student, the tone student's book lay on the desk. So what is the problem on this sentence? The tone student's book lay on the desk. What's the problem of this the sentence? Especially the modifier. Look at the bold part of the sentence. Tone student's book lay on the desk. What is the problem?
It is placed in the wrong order.
The wrong order. So what is the correct one? So you have modifier the adjective tone, right? Tone. So actually it is, it modifies what?
It's supposed to modify the book.
The book. It should be like that, yeah? But if you look at the sentence, the tone student's book, in this case, when you read something like this, yeah, the modified tone, in this case, modifies the student, yeah, modifies the students because the word tone plays close to the word students. Therefore, it will be confusing, right? Because the tone, in this case, modifies the student, yeah. But actually, the writer wants to say that the tone modifies the book, like what your friend said, yeah. So it must be corrected. So that is the examples of the problem, yeah. The problem of the placement of the modifier. Okay. So when a modifier is in correct place in the sentence, it is called a misplaced modifier. Yeah. But when a modifier improperly modifies something, it is called a dangling modifier. So actually, both terms refer to modifiers that are connected to wrong thing in a sentence. A misplaced modifier is too far away from the thing it is supposed to modify, while a dangling modifier's intended subject is missing from the sentence altogether. So that is the difference. Yeah. So a misplaced modifier, it is too far from the thing it is supposed to modify. But in dangling modifier, the modifier is missing from the sentence altogether. Yeah. So the keyword is missing from the sentence altogether. That is what we have dangling modifier. Yeah. Modifier describe words or words in a sentence. So it should be placed as closely as possible to the word it is meant to modify. Yeah, to modify. So the keyword is that when you have modified, the modifier should be placed as closely as possible to the word it is meant to modify. Yeah. So what is misplaced modifiers? A misplaced modifiers is a modifier. It can be adjective, it can be adverb, it can be phrase, it can be clause that is incorrectly placed in the sentence. So because of the separation, sentences with this error often sound awkward. Yeah, so it will be awkward, sound awkward, ridiculous, or confusing. Let's see the examples. On her way home, Jen found a gold man's watch. So there is a kind of misplaced modifier here, because if you look at the sentence, the word girl, in this case, modify the man, right? So the example above suggests that a girl man owns a watch. See, is it understood? Yeah. So there is a kind of misplaced modifier, because in this case, goal modifies the man, because goal is closely placed near the man, right? Yeah. So there is a kind of misplaced modifier. So the misplaced modifier can be corrected by moving the modifier next to the word it modifies. So look at the correction. On her way home, Jen found a man's gold watch. Yeah, so it is the correct one, because the gold should be placed before the watch. Yeah, or closely to watch. Yeah, the word watch, because gold modifies the watch. Yeah, this is correct modifier. Any kind of modifier can be misplaced. It can be adjective, it can be adverb. Let's see the examples of misplaced adjective. The torn student's book lay on the desk. So there is a kind of misplaced adjective, because the word torn here, yeah, like what we have in the beginning, yeah, and the previous slide, that the torn modifies student, right? Because the word torn is placed closely to the student. But if the writer want to say that the torn modifies the book, therefore it must be corrected. Yeah. correct the error by placing the adjective next to the noun it modifies. That is the suggestion. Please correct the error by placing the adjective next to the noun it modifies. So the correction will be the students turn book lay on the desk. The students turn book lay on the desk. So in this case, the adjective turn modifies the book. Yeah, modifies the book. Okay, so that is the examples of misplaced adjective. And next, look at the examples of misplaced adverb. Placement of adverbs can also change meaning in sentences. The sentence, for example, suggests that we brought a lunch slowly. So if you look at the examples, we add lunch that we had brought slowly. So it refers that it shows us that slowly modifies brought, right? Because the word slowly is placed closely to the word brought, right? So meaning to say that slowly modifies the word brought. But actually, the intended meaning of the writer is not like that. Yeah. So to repair the meaning, please move the adverb slowly so that it is near the word at, right? So the correction will be, we slowly add the lunch that we had brought. Or you can also write, we add slowly the lunch that we had brought. Yeah. So in this case, slowly modifies the verb add, right? So that is the examples of misplaced adverb. Next, the sentence, for example, means that I only contributed the money. So this is also the examples of misplaced adverb. The word only, yeah, adverb only. Look at the examples. I only contributed $10 to the fund for orphan children, right? In this case, when you place the word, the adverb only before the word contributed, it means that only modifies the verb contributed. But actually, the writer wants to say that only refers to the number of money, right? The dollars. So you have corrected in the right sentence. I contributed only $10 to the fund for orphan children. So you see that only modifies $10. Yeah, only $10, not only contributed. Because when we say only contributed, the meaning will be different, right? But when the writer wants to say that only modifies the money, yeah, the number of money, so it should be placed closely to the money. Yeah, I contributed only $10. That is the correct one. Yeah. And then next, we are going to see the dangling modifiers. Okay. Dangling modifiers are similar to misplaced modifiers, except that modifier isn't just separated from the word it modifies, but it is missing the word it modifies. So the important thing is missing the word it modifies. Yeah, that is the key word, missing the word it modifies. Look at the examples. Having eaten dinner, the idea of cheeseburger was unappealing. So this is the examples of dangling modifier. Why? Any opinion? Any comments for this? Why is it dangling modifier? Look at the understanding of dangling modifiers. Yeah, it is missing the word it modifies. Look at the subject of each clauses. Sorry, each clause. Yeah. Look at the examples of the subject of each clause. The first clause, having eaten dinner. We don't know the subject, right? And then the second clause, the idea of a cheeseburger was unappealing. Yeah. So the subject is the idea of a cheeseburger, right? A cheeseburger. But then the subject of the first clause is must be someone, right? Someone have eaten dinner, right? Or had eaten dinner, if it is past tense, right? Had eaten. So must be someone. But in the second clause, the subject is the idea of a cheeseburger. So if you have a complex sentence like this, the subject must be the same, right? You have to have the same subject. Yeah. So in this case, we can have the correction. Having eaten dinner, I found the idea of a cheeseburger unappealing. So you see that having eaten dinner, the subject must be someone. So you can add the subject, or you can change the subject in the second clause. Yeah, I found the idea of a cheeseburger, meaning to say that I had eaten dinner, right? The subject is the same, right? So in this case, if you look at the examples, having eaten a dinner, the idea of a cheeseburger was unappealing. There is something that is missing. Yeah, missing what it modifies. Yeah. In the next sentence, the infinitive phrase "to win the election" is lacking a word to modify. It cannot modify money. So let's see the examples. To win the election, money is essential. So you can see that the first clause, it is non-finite clause, right? Yeah, by using to infinitive. And then the second clause, money is essential. Subject is money. But you see that the subject is not the same. Yeah, because who win the election? It must be someone, right? To win the election, it must be someone who win the election, not money, right? So it must be corrected. To win the election, a candidate needs money. So you have to change, yeah, the subjects, so that the subject, the idea of the the subject of this clauses are the same, right? Meaning to say that the candidate win the election, and then the second clause, a candidate needs money. Yeah. Okay. Next, in this clause, a subject and a verb are missing. They are implied but are not stated. For example, when upset and sad, her room was her refuge. So this is the examples of dangling modifier, because who you can ask the question, yeah, who is upset and sad? It must be someone, right? Not her room, but someone, right? So you have to change the subject. Yeah, a subject must follow one, and all the clause will dangle. So you can correct the sentence. When upset and said she used her room as a refuge. So you see, the subject will be the same because the second clause subject is she. So and the first clause, when upset and sad, it means that the subject is also she. Yeah, she was upset and sad. So the principle of what is it? The principle of complex sentence should be you have the same subject. Yeah, you have the same subject. Now we'll see the how to correct the dangling modifiers. Yeah, there are two methods of how to correct the dangling modifiers. The first method is the first point is leave the modifier as it is. Please leave the modifier as it is. And then please change the main part of the sentence so that it begins with the term actually modifies. Yeah. So in this case, you can add or you can change the subject. Yeah. You can change the subject. Yeah. So that is the first method, right? You can see the examples. Looking toward the west, a funnel-shaped cloud stood up dash. So that is the examples of modifier. So you can add or you can change the subject. Yeah. Looking toward the west, I saw a funnel-shaped cloud stir up dash. That is the first method. And then the second method, please change the dangling modifier, a modifier phrase to a subordinate clause, creating subject and verb. Please leave the rest of the sentence as it is. Look at the examples. When 9 years old, my mother enrolled in medical school. That is the examples of dangling modifier. When 9 years old, actually the modifier must be not the matter, yeah, but it can be, for example, yeah. So you can correct it with when I was 9 years old, my mother enrolled in medical school. So that is the second method. So you see that there are two methods to how to correct the dangling modifiers. Okay. Now we come to the exercise. So could you what is it? Correct the sentences. The waiter presented the stick to the guest that was medium rare. What do you think? Can you correct the sentence? The waiter presented a stick to the guest that was medium rare. What is the correct sentence? So that was medium rare modifies what? Not modifies the guest, but modifies what?
Steak.
Steak. So you have to place the medium rare close to a stick, right? So it must be the waiter presented
a medium rare steak.
Yeah, right, good. The waiter presented a medium rare steak to the guest. Or you can also say the waiter presented a steak that was medium rare to the guest. Yeah. Okay. Next, most participants selected the lunch from the menu that was high in sugar. So that was high in sugar. It modifies what? Not modifies the menu, but modifies Pak Erin. It modifies what? That was high in sugar. Modifies what? A lunch on the menu. Halo, Mbak Rina? That's what high in sugar. Maybe Mbak Safira? It modifies what? Oh, sorry. Halo, Mbak Safira? A lunch from menu that was high in sugar. So that was high in sugar modifies what? A lunch or the menu? This is the examples of misplaced modifier. That was high in